So my grandson, Austin, my youngest grandson, was about 4 or 5 when this happened. We were over at his parents' house. We were visiting, and we were going to have a watermelon for supper, and it was sitting on the cabinet, and it looked good, and Austin could imagine how good it tastes, and he started asking, "Can I get the watermelon?" "No, we're going to have that for supper." "But I want some now." "Don't get that." His dad, knowing Austin, even said, "Austin, don't try to get that watermelon down. You'll drop it and bust it." Eventually, even Pops said, "Austin, be careful. That watermelon's heavier than you think. You'll drop it and bust it." Well, he kept asking and he kept looking at the watermelon, and we were visiting, and sure enough, eventually we looked over and Austin had gotten on the cabinet and he had the watermelon. And you know exactly what happened after that. It slid down through his arms, rolled to the edge of the cabinet, off onto the floor, and busted. And Austin looked up, and before any of us could say anything, he said, "Well, I did not see that happening." And once we were able to hide our laughter enough to talk to him, he couldn't really process what he was really thinking, other than it was really clear to him, A, he wanted that watermelon so bad he was sure he could get it, or B, we were exaggerating the consequences and surely he couldn't drop a watermelon, or C, he just didn't care and he wanted that watermelon. But it was also clear he didn't really expect to drop that watermelon. Now, for him, the consequences weren't the end of the world. Well, he didn't get to have watermelon at supper. But other than that, it really wasn't bad. But I thought about that a lot because I'm reminded of how many things God tells us in His Word. He gives us lots of instructions about how to live our life, how to treat people, what marriage should be. God talks a lot about how to get closer to Him and pursue Him. He even gives us warnings that if you do this, this will happen, and if you don't do this, this will happen. And God even spells out the consequences for us sometimes. And sometimes we ignore those. Maybe it is that we get so focused on what we want that surely God didn't mean. Maybe we ignore them. Maybe we think they're not going to be as severe. Maybe we just think, hey, it's so in the heat of the moment, I want this so badly. I don't know. I just know that we need to pay attention to what God says, because I don't want to ignore His warnings and wake up someday to consequences that are eternal. Because none of us want to get to the judgment day and end up saying, I never saw that happening. So listen to God's warnings. They're given in love to help us live our best life and our best selves for Him.